Welcome back to Terror and Urban Myths. Tonight we're going to Costa Rica, to a legend that is pretty chilling, pretty scary, and it haunts the oldest hospital there. If you guys like what you hear, make sure to subscribe and give this episode a like.
We're going to talk about the glass nun, a ghost who has scared people, patients and staff at the hospital San Juan de Dios in San Jose for a long time.
The oldest hospital in Costa Rica. Yeah, that's a great place for a ghost story. I think, old buildings hold on to things from the past.
Yeah.
Especially when those things are, tragic.
The hospital San Juan de Dios is old. The architecture is kind of spooky. The halls are long. Imagine you're in the hospital, you're sick, you don't feel good, and you see a ghost, a nun, dressed in white. And she's coming towards you, and she has a glass of water.
Oh, that would scare me, yeah.
Yeah.
But the water, that's interesting. It's not like a knife.
Yeah.
Or something scary, but it's still scary. Why is that?
The story is scary. The nun, she did something bad when she was alive. She wouldn't give a dying patient water. Wow. That's awful. To not help someone who's dying, especially when they just want some water. It makes you think about what happens when you're not kind. What happens to your soul.
That's why she's a ghost now, the glass nun. She has to walk the halls of the hospital forever, offering water to people. It's her punishment for what she did.
So she wants to be kind now, but she scares people. It's sad. She can't make it right, Do you think she wants to be forgiven?
Maybe. That's what makes this story so interesting. It's mysterious. But there are people who think if you take the water from her, you'll be healed.
So it's like a miracle. You're scared, but you might be healed. That would be hard to decide.
Yeah, it's about believing in something, even if it scares you. Do you trust the ghost? Or do you let your fear stop you from maybe being healed?
And what about the people who did take the water? Why did they do it? Were they desperate? Or did they see something in her, something that made them trust her?
I don't know. But that's what's so great about this legend. It makes you think about life and death and what we believe in. It's a story that you don't forget. It makes you think about the choices you make and how they affect other people. Maybe forever. The glass nun shows us that even small things can be important and have big consequences.
Yeah, it's not just a scary story, The glass nun makes you think about what you do and what happens after. Maybe you can fix things, even if you mess up.
She can't escape what she did. That's what's scary, I think. Like, she wants to be good now, but she's stuck.
Yeah.
But it reminds me of, how we tell stories to explain things we don't understand.
Right, and this legend, the glass nun, it tells us something about people and what they're scared of. Like, think about hospitals. People go there when they might die. It's scary.
And hospitals haven't always been good places.
Yeah.
Sometimes people were treated badly in hospitals, maybe a long time ago. So could the glass nun be, could she be because people are scared of that, of being hurt in the hospital?
It's possible. She could be, the fear of being alone and sick and nobody helps you. That's a really old fear.
And she's a nun. That's important too, right? Catholics, they believe in feeling bad about what you do wrong. Maybe the glass nun, she's like that. She's scared of being punished.
Catholics believe in purgatory. It's like a place where you go after you die to be cleaned before heaven. Maybe the glass nun, she's stuck in purgatory, walking around, trying to fix what she did.
And people say if you take the water, you might be healed. So maybe believing is important. Even if you're scared, it could help you.
Right. It's about having faith in something. It doesn't have to be God. But just believing things can get better. It can change things.
And the hospital. San Juan de Dios. It's old. So many people have been there. They've lived and died. It's full of stories.
It's like the hospital is part of the story, too. It's seen so much. And the glass nun, she's part of the hospital now. Like, she can't leave. She's part of its history,
She's a good story. And people tell it. Even outside the hospital. She's like a symbol of something. Have people seen her outside the hospital? Do we know?
I don't think so. Not for sure. But people say they have. They whisper about it. Like they know someone who saw her or felt her,
It's like the story is alive. People keep telling it. That's how these stories stay around. We like to be scared, I guess.
And they change a little bit every time. They become part of the culture. It makes you think, how does the story about the glass nun, how does it change how people in Costa Rica think about hospitals or dying or even God?
Yeah. It's not just a fun story. It's part of who they are. It means something. And when we talk about these stories, we learn about people too and what they believe. It makes you think, like, are there other stories, in other places? about feeling guilty and wanting to make things right, but it's about, like, hospitals and dying.
I bet there are. People everywhere, they worry about the same things. Dying and what happens after. The stories are different, yeah. But we're all kind of thinking about the same stuff.
Trying to figure it out with stories.
Exactly. And if we listen to these stories from all over, we learn about not just the stories, but like about people, what makes us human.
Yeah. We're not that different.
Yeah.
You know, even if we're from different places, we share the same fears and hopes.
That's what's cool about legends. They're entertaining, sure, but they help us connect, right, with other people.
Yeah.
And think about the big questions, the stuff that's always bothered us since, like, forever.
Well, this has been pretty interesting, talking about the glass nun and all the different ways to think about her and her story.
It's just one story, but it tells us so much about history and culture and how people think about getting sick and religion, too.
And that even though it's a scary story, there's also hope there. She wants to help, right? To heal people.
Maybe. She's a reminder to be kind, I think. Your choices, they matter. They can hurt people or they can help them. And that matters even after, even after you're gone.
Yeah. The glass nun, she reminds us that what we do, it has power. It can last a long time and affect other people.
Well, if you like learning about the glass nun, make sure you subscribe to Terror and Urban Myths. We've got lots more stories about legends and folklore and all that spooky stuff.
And don't forget to like the episode. It helps us out. And, well, thanks for listening. Sweet dreams. And maybe don't say no next time someone asks for a glass of water.